Hello there, viewers. Welcome to the youth segment of The Sage. I'm sure you'll be following the series, right? Quite interesting. Well, first of all, I have to say that as a young person, and for every young discussant on this panel, we find it a huge honor to be able to share our thoughts, to be part of the conversations leading to our own future and our own destiny as Nigerians in this country. So, believe you me, I'm pleased to be here, to be able to have my thoughts shared and aired. And also having a platform that every young person can be represented and their opinions voiced out. So that's what we're here for. So, first thing, we're grateful. But let's dive into the conversation. 2023 elections. It's like a make or break moment. It's like that moment when you know that whatever happens can mar or make your life in the next 4 to 8 years. So everybody's on edge, as we should be. But we can, instead of sitting on the fence, make positive changes that will help influence what happens to us in the next 4 to 8 years. So yes, the series started with why our voices are vital, why we as young Nigerians need to come together. We discussed about the issues of PVC, we discussed how young Nigerians can play effective roles in the electoral process. But now today, we're taking it deeper. We're talking about how we can come together as one, with one voice, one movement, and saying that 2023 elections, we want a good candidate. We're going to be talking on today's episode how every young Nigerian, both in urban and rural areas, can be mobilized to positively influence 2023. So stay tuned. It's a long ride, but we're taking it together. We'll be back. Welcome back. Before I introduce our discussants, I'm sure some of you are familiar with them already, but I also want to let you know that this conversation is not just by us. It involves everybody plus the viewers. So we really like your comments. You really like your opinions about what we're discussing about. So go to our YouTube page, comment on any episode you think you have an opinion on. Go to our Instagram, our Twitter handles. They're going to be displayed on the screen, and let us know your thoughts. Let's dive into it. So I'm going to turn to my 4 amazing discussants. I'm sure their faces are not new, but just in case this is your first time on the show, to my nearest is Miss Rachel Bob. She's a lawyer, and she's also the CEO, Healing Hand Spa.
Pleased to be here.
Welcome. We have Mrs. Ngozi Roland Onuegwowoke. She's the CEO, Sen Foods and Spices.
Thank you for having me.
We have Mr. Eric Ochibo, CEO, St. James Bond.
Thank you so much.
And my lovely media personnel, Miss Chinelo Ezekwe. Again, welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's get into it. Personally, I'm a one-man army, I used to say. I don't have much friends. Anything that has to do with crowd or groups, I try to avoid. So, and now we're talking about mobilizing every single. We know we're 70% of the population. We carry weight. We get the voice, we know. But how do you mobilize 70% of over 200 million people? Where do you start? Richard.
I think, the world is now a global village, and let me say 70% of the youth use mobile phones, and not just, okay, let's say out of that 70%, we have, let me say 20% that use phones that's not connected to the internet. So we have like 50% that are connected to the internet. So social media, almost everybody's on Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account. there's violence in Twitter that I cannot handle. So almost everybody has a Twitter account, Instagram. The most common is WhatsApp. So, and WhatsApp has made it easy that you can share posts on your status. So how do you do things? Reshare, retweet, make everybody know, okay, this is what's happening, especially on social media, because I'm not somebody that likes to talk to strangers, but social media has made it now that you can talk to strangers without actually having a conversation with them. You just post it, and there's this sweet thing, yeah, about social media. You don't have the reach, but if you repost a post of somebody that has that reach, you are pushing the post. I don't know this. The what she said, basically. so yes, maybe your followers on Instagram are maybe 100, and you are reposting. Let's say for her now, she has 300,000 followers. So if I repost her post, yeah, it's pushing hers forward. Most people will say, okay, she has more friends than I do. So her friends will know what I'm doing and all of that. So you have Facebook. Older generation are mostly on Facebook than they are on Instagram. And we know that, yes, youth and everything, but they also matter.
Sure.
They also matter. They have, yes, we have the voice, but they have a lot of influence when it comes to the money, and people listen to them.
True. They're like stakeholders.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. So you want to get to them also. So Facebook. So it's knowing which category of people to reach with a particular social media platform. You know, Twitter is for us. Instagram is for, but Facebook
For the older.
for the older people. And we have a lot of groups on Facebook. A lot. And you don't have that on Instagram. But Facebook, you have this market group. This. So it's repost, reshare, like, comment. Always like and comment and reshare the post. It pushes it. It makes everybody's hearing, everybody's seeing, everybody's doing. You get, so you don't have to leave your house to be part of 2023 making the elections loud. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to even talk to your neighbor. You just need to reshare, like, and post.
Let me try this here because we're on social media now. Okay, I'm more active on Instagram, and we know influencers have a huge, like, I'm likely to open my account, just open the app, check social people's page, and zoom out. And I'm sure many young people like me do that. There are certain pages we just go to because we like the content, we like what they post. Maybe they're very flashy, it's giving us body goals, couple goals, whatever goals it is. Just that, or maybe we just want a funny content. So where do all this, let me call them that, where do all these celebrities, influencers come to play? And also, please, Big Brother fans, where do such media platforms? Because they're very trendy on social media. Like, if you go to Twitter, the first, like, most trending hashtag I have seen the whole of Nigeria is hashtag BBNiger. How can we capitalize on these dynamics in mobilizing young Nigerians to be more involved in 2023 elections?
Let me just share a little story, a funny one though. I play games a lot on my phone. And then this particular evening, I lay on my bed and I'm playing games. I know they have pop-up ads. So each time I play a game, this particular spaghetti company pops up. I watch and it goes and then I continue my game. It kept popping up. I started thinking that spaghetti. I started visualizing. That night, I went to buy that spaghetti. That's the power of media.
True.
That is the power of being in people's faces.
Yeah.
So this whole influencing thing, of course, they are influencers based on the kind of content they put in the social media space, or based on the kind of job they do. They could be actors, musicians. There are people who pull crowds. So when we are trying to mobilize this coming together of youths, the social media plays a vital role, and influencers play a vital role on the social media space. So yes, the social media is an amazing avenue to bring people who share the same idea with you, who share the same philosophy with you, bring them together within a particular space. And I would rather want to suggest, or I think what happens or what is in play is when you bring them from all these big platforms, you now narrow them to more private groups such as the WhatsApp, the Telegram, where you can now strategize, draw ideas, come together to work out, plans and all that. So the role of this social media, like there's a campaign that took place some days ago. We know that a particular influencer was involved. And you'll be amazed that some people just want to see them. That's why they are going to those places.
True.
They might not even know what the campaign is about, but so person is going to be there. Oh, the video is going to be there. Oh, let's go see him. We might have an opportunity to probably have a selfie with him, So these are the roles they play. So if you can get social influencers that share the same value with yours and can play in the same campaign space, based on the leader that has a particular criteria we want, or you bring them in to share that idea to create awareness, to go and get your PVC or vote and all that. If you engage them, you see that you move more crowd.
And to add to what she said, apart from liking, sharing, and all of that, for the influencers, I can just, if I don't want to put anything on my page, I can pay for their ads, like paid ads on social media. So I can just send a DM like, okay, can I pay for the ads that you're going to run on your page? You don't even need to talk, just pay for the ads and movement is going forward. Simple.
Well, taking it out of social media, where does TV and radio, all the media platforms
they're all mass media. Exactly. They're all mass media. Because when she was saying social media, I'm like, perfect. They're leaving us behind. Not old yet anyway, but they're leaving the older generations behind. And when you say TV and radio, now there are government TV and radio stations, and they're privatized ones, of course. And when you talk about TV, everybody wants to hear what Channels has to say because they believe that Channels has the most balanced reports. And now Arise Television is coming up, and there's TVC, and then there's NTA, there's AIT, right? So, and then when people only listen to government, like NTA, it's no government angle here. What is the lie they want to tell us? Let's know what they want to tell us and everything. So, in that way, they are still very, very much important. In as much as yes, the world is a global village, everybody is moving to the internet, but the TV and the radio are still very vital. You will appreciate that NTA that looks that are their picture quality is not really that top notch when when your subscription expires. That's when you appreciate them. And that's when you know.
You appreciate them.
They actually give news. Yeah, it's actually because we listen to the headlines and also listen to Channel's headlines. They actually have the same headlines. They roll out things, but because you just look at them, kind of gloomy picture. Government, NTA is like Nigeria, NTA is like this. But when you actually listen, the diction, because the media is there to educate you, to entertain, and to inform. And if you actually just calm down and leave Nigeria out of it, you understand, you actually learn pronunciations, you get information and everything. And people still watch these things. Like people that don't have, it's free to air. Everybody gets NTA.
Once your DSU expires,
you must get NTA. Like that's when you appreciate them. Because you still be in the know and you still know what's going on. And then the radio, in as much as yes, everybody says it's phasing out this online radio now, but it's still so important for all those our youth and the elderly and even everybody that is eligible to vote in the villages, in the rural areas. You see, all people that are going to farm, they just carry their little radios and they put it on the farm. Yes, exactly. They listen. So that's why it hasn't really phased off. So all the mass media, they're all still very, very important in this movement, right? In trying to sensitize, trying to guide, and in trying to, get everybody involved in making sure that we collectively, both youths and like she rightly pointed out that even the elder ones are still very, very important. The ones that are not necessarily youths anymore, they are still important in the movement. And the good thing about what you said about influencers, yes, everybody, like we said, there are 18 political parties. That means 18 presidential candidates that are coming out. So you can actually tailor who, you have the right to choose who you want to vote for, depending on the person's antecedents or everything. So it mustn't be, any influencer can just pick anybody they like to talk about, right? So, but we always have to make sure that we ourselves, the privileged ones that were privileged to go to school, should actually be very informed. We need to always research. We need to have the right information all the time. So that even anybody that is pushing any candidate on the contrary, that, you feel the candidate is a bit watered and there's a better one, you can present better arguments if you have the information. You can present better, so these things are really, really very important. that we, make use of the mass media, whether it's the NTA that their color screen is not that great, or whether it's radio that, they always, government radio, they always talk about boring things. Do you understand? So when you listen to these things, because, okay, like our radio station, there's what they call Radio Link every Saturday, where dignitaries and ministers, and they all come to, air or say what they're doing, and then they open phone lines and people from all over Nigeria are calling them to ask them questions. These things have kicked off. The campaign has officially kicked off for all the political parties today. So now we're going to be seeing a lot of these things, a lot of ads, a lot of jingles, even paid ones and unpaid ones. As media people, it is your responsibility to always remind the people that they have to exercise their franchise. It is their right to vote. But then tailored, adverts and everything. This is where the mobilization comes in now for youths that are doing well. They could actually sponsor these ads and everything where it's going there. You can make jingles in different languages to appeal to different people, because we're too much and our languages are just enormous in Nigeria, right? So jingles that appeal to people, and both funny ones, both serious ones, and also get partnerships, go to National Orientation Agency, go to these governments, places, and there is actually their responsibilities. National Orientation Agency, they are there to orientate Nigerians to do the right thing, right?
So you can get like a free partnership with them to spread the word.
Of course. Wow. Yes, you can. Yes, you actually can. So just to reach out to these people. And the good thing about social media is they just put them on the spotlight. Everybody's looking at them. Everybody wants to dodge you. The person can't really just this social media. Okay, let's just answer them. Nobody wants bad press, right? People don't like bad press.
That's true. Yeah. Wow. So we've seen that the media has a huge role to play. But when we come back, we'll discuss other ways that young people in Nigeria can come together. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So I'm guessing that you're enjoying the conversation, right? Please don't forget to share your comments and your thoughts on our YouTube page, on our Instagram. So I'm going to turn back to our discussant, and I'm going to ask, aside media, we've spoken extensively of how the media comes to play. But what else? How do we pull people, young people, together towards 2023? Eric.
Thank you very much. The beauty of Africa and the beauty of Nigeria is that we are very traditional people. In as much as the technologies will come, but we will still retain some element of our tradition and culture. And that you cannot take from the black man. You cannot take from a Nigerian. So if you go back history, you see that in our communities, there are always groups, age grade, youth groups, progressive associations, even for faith-based associations or groups. I don't want to call names now, but for faith-based groups, you see they have the youth arm, the women arm, the men arm, and all that. So all these groups exist. They may not be registered with the CAC, with the authorities, but they exist. They are recognized by traditional authorities, and they play a very important role in the community, especially when it comes to dissemination of information. They play very important roles. Now we are approaching 2023, and it is important we carry everybody along. It is important for those in the city center or in the city areas like of Abuja, of Lagos, of Port Harcourt, Kano, and other places who are more learned, I would like to say that in quote, are more exposed to some of the information our rural brothers may not understand. It is very important that these channels are also explored to ensure people get the right information. It is also important to get to use. In fact, we have schools, and in schools as well, in these rural schools, they also need this information. You also have groups in those schools as well. So it is important we explore all these groups. In fact, some of us in the city center, we still have connections to these traditional groups back in the villages and in our respective communities and constituencies, as it were. Yeah. Some people still pay dues. You still pay some kind of monthly dues, some kind of annual dues to those groups. When they have occasions, you travel down, you attend and all that. So that African traditional communal living still exists. It may not be as loud as it used to be back in the years, but it still exists. And it's still very, very important as it used to be. So it is now time for us to take advantage of this communication of these flows and make sure it gets down to the very people at the bottom of the pyramid. you see, elections history have showed in this country that those who really vote are those in the rural areas.
True. True.
But they don't have access to social media, a lot of them. They don't have access to traditional media because some communities don't have lights.
Yeah.
You know, a very few persons may have access to radio and all that, which we not always have. But they always meet in these groups. They always spend their time and their days in this group. It is also important we step down the information through those routes and make sure everybody is informed. Everybody knows what to do, who to vote for, what to look out for, how to thumb print. Because if you look at the election history, we have a lot of invalid votes. This is because I wanted to vote this way, I wanted to vote that way. The innocent youth may not be very well informed. He just puts his hand anywhere, and Nigeria as a country has lost that vote. So it is important for all of us who are privileged to have read, to be able to enjoy the research and informations we have. You should be able to go down. We should all be involved. The 70% of Nigeria's population, which are young people, is an asset. It's an economic and political asset. In fact, for anybody to emerge the president of this country in 2023, you must get the backing of the youths.
Definitely.
You must get them to run your campaign. You must get them to do your billboard and all that. You must get them to bring you out.
Yeah.
And then they make up a huge number of the voting register, those who are registered to vote. So it is important we take advantage of all this group. Now, for those of us in the city center who are privileged to be in the city center and have more access to this information because we have access to social media and the traditional media at our fingertips, we still have relationship with these people back in the villages. So we send them money. Sometimes we pay school fees from here and all that to send them. Things are difficult to send money. Those channels, you also send down the information. Look, if we vote rightly, yes, if you vote rightly and we get the right person in office in 2023, the support I'm giving you, I'll be able to give more. But it's so difficult now. I'm struggling to give you a little, but please do this as your own way of supporting the country, the economy, supporting the entire system. So if we get it right in 2023, you will get more support. Good things will come down from the very top to the bottom. So it's all about us. It's all about the young people. It's all about everybody coming to be part of this network and to pass the information that 2023 we must get it right.
Yeah, to also add to what he said, we've spoken at length about social media and all that, seeing how we can merge both movement, because when we bring people together from social media, they share the same ideas and philosophy, and then we narrow them down or navigate them towards a closed group such as the WhatsApp and the Telegram. What usually goes on in such groups is they strategize. And remember, these people are brought together from social media, so of course they are in different parts of the country. So when they are educated or informed on that closed groups, the WhatsApp and the Telegram groups. So another important thing which one of the candidates used one time, one of those campaign period, is what they call the neighbor to neighbor campaign, where these members of these closed groups are broken down into subgroups in their community and they go door to door. Because some people don't even get involved even with these small rural groups. They feel maybe they are hoodlums or they are rascals or they are not needed. Even in the village, there's still class. Some people might feel, they are not my class, even though we stay in the same location, So the door-to-door is actually bringing people out of their comfort zone. What are they saying? It doesn't mind me. It doesn't affect me, So it's not my business. I'm not involved. But when you get people knock at your door, there's a particular religious body that does that, And so, growing up used to be so, So you do the door-to-door campaign. They're saying, have you heard of 2023 election? Do you know the calendars? Do you know your candidates? Do you know the criteria to look out for? They feel, the first thing they see in that kind of movement, they feel like it's the government that sent you. So they feel important. Okay, apart from what is shown on the TV, on social, they feel my vote is important. That kind of a thing. So it goes beyond just having closed groups. We need to reach out to individuals. We need to reach out to them at the comfort of their homes and educate them. Educate them. You understand? They need to be informed. Some people think they know until they get involved in a conversation. Now they'll be like, I really thought this, I really thought that. So for us to get to that grassroots, we need to do that door-to-door campaign. You know, we are not campaigning for a candidate, but we are campaigning that you choose a credible candidate and come out to vote and be involved in the selection process of the next leader of the country, of which affects us whichever way, you know, it happens, or which affects us, whether we like it or not, it affects us, you know. So these are ways that we can merge both the urban and the rural. Then these bodies or subunits can also go to talk to groups like he mentioned. You know, every local government, every village has a youth group. Every village, we have over 774 local government. Yeah. So every village, you're not, you know, in the local government, you have a couple of villages under one local government. Yeah. So if you want to now calculate the number of villages in Nigeria, oh my goodness, you know. So every village has a youth group that speaks for them, as well as a women group and a male group. So if we can also reach out to these people and educate them, because they are the targets for the politicians in vote buying. So they need to understand why they should vote right. Everybody is feeling the pain. Everybody is feeling the pain of the economy. At least, if for nothing, you go to market, you eat, right? The price of rice last week and this week is now rice is like a major gold food, if I should put it that way. That's why when you're having parties now, if you invite 10 people, know that 50 people are coming, because everybody know that there's free food. Wow. Do you understand? So it's everybody is pained. And based on this thing, we need to open their eyes to see this thing you are going. It has a ripple effect. It comes down from leadership. It's not just we woke up and the economy is bad. Do you understand? It's not like we just woke up and something is bad. No, it started from somewhere. And that's why it's affecting you. You might be in the village and you think maybe it's your governor. It's not your governor. Yes, your governor has a role to play, but it comes from up there, you know. So they need to open their eyes to see. So if they are blind, we need to remove that, you know, whatever it is that is in their eyes. So, but these are ways we can merge both the urban and the rural. And to be honest, yes, the urban, because of the social media, they are more informed. But this information is not enough until it gets to the grassroots. It's just like having a gun and there's thief in your house. You don't know you have a gun. You can't use it. So when you are aware that you have a weapon that can chase those thieves, then you will use it, especially when you have learned how to use it. So we need to educate them and inform them to know that CCCO, if you want a change, you must get involved. Leave that mentality of our vote doesn't count. If it doesn't count, why are they buying your vote?
True. So in a nutshell, what we're saying is, first, leave no one behind. Everyone is to be informed. And we in the urban, we are more responsible, not just for ourselves, but also those in grassroots. But now I'm thinking, because this is literally like a national youth movement. When does the national conference come to play? Or do we even believe it's strategic to have such a gathering in mobilizing young people? We young Nigerians, the spirit. What do you think?
That's a big question, because everybody's kind of quiet.
Because you have to take into consideration security issues in Nigeria.
You know, in Nigeria, I think we can start with subgroups. Then leaders of these subgroups can now come together to have a voice. Do you understand? And remember, because we also have religious diversities, these also will play a role in having groups. So beyond those subgroups, the leaders can now come together on a round table to say, we are not talking about a particular candidate, but these are the criteria. We need to look beyond religion. We need to look beyond ethnicity and decide who will take Nigeria forward.
And you mentioned the National Youth Conference. I think it holds. I can recall it held some early this year or late last year by this present administration, and it held at the National Stadium. But I don't know if any other one is going to hold before 2023 elections. But if that's going to come up, we may have to find out from the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Yeah, we need to find out that. If that is going to happen, one of the topics that should be discussed is 2023. Because people are going to come down from across the country to be part of that conference. Like he held early this year. I'm not so sure, but I know he held early this year or late last year. You know, so people are going to travel across. I'm not sure if anyone is going to come up again. Sorry. But if it was going to come up, the bone of contention, we should ensure that conversation is on the table at the national level as well.
Any final words? For
me, I will say that the rural people vote more than the urban people. Although things are changing now, we're beginning to see things change, that those in urban areas are getting involved as well. So we must make sure the rural people, the rural young people get it right. Because they are less informed, as we already agreed, and they are easily to be manipulated by my politicians on vote buying. We also need to inform them to know that, look, you can report what to report. And how to report.
Exactly.
It's important they know, so that we can, at the end of 2023, we can as well have an improved electoral system.
Exactly. Then, like you mentioned, you mentioned the Big Brother thing. So what I could also encourage producers and executive producers and directors of these shows that they know bring a large audience, look for time in between where you can drop messages, trying to encourage the youth to vote, to choose a credible candidate. They can have like briefs, like I think the Big Brother, they do like dramas and stuff. You can have a drama on voting and stuff like that, So as much as possible, everybody's hand should be on deck in trying to sensitize the public, their need to vote, and they need to vote a credible candidate. So these are things that all these media houses can also add.
Wow, we have had an amazing conversation already. But the goal of this conversation is that we empower we young Nigerians to be able to effectively implement these ideas. So we've churned out a lot of action points and how we can come together as young people. But we need to go to our local government areas, we need to go to our sphere of influence and see what we can start doing in implementing these ideas. It starts with us. You're responsible not just for yourself, you're responsible for your neighbors and everybody within your sphere of influence. But we're not done. Because you see, it goes beyond our borders. We need to talk about all those young people that have jackpot. There are people in those diaspora. They need to be involved. I think they have some role to play. So stay tuned with us. In the next episode of the youth segment on this age, we'll be talking about that. Don't forget to share your thoughts and your comments on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Take care.